So earlier today, I posted a question on Facebook because I'm kind of curious to see what other people think about one of the main issues is behind not being able to lose weight, or at least if you do lose it, how do you keep it off? And one of the recurring responses was mental toughness, discipline, willpower, and motivation. Okay, so what if you don't have those things, and what if you run out of it? How do you focus on keeping the weight off, or how do you focus on keeping results if you're only relying on motivation, discipline, and willpower? And the struggle is that people think they need more motivation, people think they need more discipline and willpower in order to do these things. But a lot of times we're already doing so much. The question isn't how to get more of this, but how do I stop doing the things, or what's the actual reason why I need discipline? Why do I actually need this motivation, willpower to do these things? And if you think about it, you require motivation to do something that you don't want to do. So what really is it about your approach that you're taking to lose weight that you don't want to do? Or what is it that you feel you need discipline towards? Where you have to use discipline when it's oftentimes preventing you from doing something. So you would say, I need discipline to stop eating cookies or ice cream. So, okay, well, what about my approach is allowing me to have to use so much discipline and willpower and motivation? A lot of times our approaches that we take are flawed in the sense that it's not really aligned with who we are in terms of our intentions and our lifestyle. So that you get this approach that you take, and at the same time it's impossible for me to follow because it's going to be too demanding and it's going to throw me into overwhelm. I'm not going to be able to finish it, or it's going to be too slow in which I'm not going to see the return on my efforts or my investment. And so if your approach is too fast or too slow, you're not going to stick with it in the long term. So it's all about finding something that works for you. But if you rely only on that mental toughness type of attitude, it's been really challenging to have that consistent effort that you need in order to lose weight over the long run. So it's not of how do I get more motivation, how do I get more discipline, and how do I get more of this mental toughness, but rather what am I doing that requires and needs so much of it in the first place? Because the approach that you could take can be easier, it can be faster, and you can actually enjoy it if you actually take the time to figure out would that approach look like for me, that I wouldn't have to feel like I was just pushing myself constantly to do these things, and I was constantly weighing the pros and cons, and I had this internal dialogue and this internal struggle behind why I'm trying to do this. So my question to you is not why do you need so much willpower, motivation, discipline, but rather what am I doing currently that requires and needs so much of it? Because you can do this in an easier way. You can lose weight in a faster way and keep it off, but you have to really figure out what would this approach look like, and how can I actually enjoy this process? How can I actually connect with this process a little more? How can I create this to be a lifestyle change, not just a plug and play in which I'm going to try to create this cookie cutter approach, I'm going to put it in my life without actually changing the style in which I live my life. Because the results are going to be a product of the way your current lifestyle is. You are exactly where you are right now as a product of the way you live your life. And therefore, if you want to change the results that you have to kind of change the way in which you live your life. And I think too many people discount that fact, and they just try to use these short-term strategies, willpower, motivation, and discipline in order to get there. But the reality is you have to have a paradigm shift in the way that you're approaching this to begin with, okay? So it's not about doing more. It's about taking away or doing less of those things that are throwing you off course constantly. So hopefully it brings a little clarity to the way that I would view how to do these things. And if you got any questions, feel free to just shoot a comment down below, and I'll talk to you guys soon.